Welcome to the Oratory of St. Catherine of Siena. In times of crisis, uncertainty, and fear, people often seek models of stability, faith, and resilience. One such model was Julian of Norwich, a 14th century English mystic, anchoress, and theologian. Living through the turmoil of the Black Death, political upheaval, and religious uncertainty, Julian remained steadfast in her enclosure, embracing a life of prayer and contemplation. Her wisdom, expressed in the book Revelations of Divine Love, offers a message of divine assurance and unwavering trust in God, which continues to speak powerfully to our own troubled times. Julian lived in an age of profound suffering. The Black Death swept through England multiple times, claiming countless lives and leaving devastation in its wake. Political instability, economic hardship, and religious divisions weighed heavily on society. In such a climate, many struggled to make sense of suffering, questioning God's presence in their pain. It was within this backdrop that Julian received her divine revelations and responded with a life of prayerful enclosure, offering spiritual stability to a world in turmoil. Far from being an escape, Julian's choice to become an anchoress, secluded in a small cell attached to St. Julian's Church in Norwich, was a radical act of faith. Her enclosure was not isolation, but immersion in a deeper reality, God's eternal presence. She chose stability in a world of chaos, anchoring herself in prayer and reflection, rather than reacting to the shifting tides of fear and suffering. Julian's physical stillness reflected an inner stability rooted in trust. In her famous visions, she encountered the boundless love of God, culminating in the assurance, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. This was not a naive dismissal of suffering, but a profound affirmation that God's love holds all things together, even in apparent ruin. Julian's ministry was one of powerful intercession. People came to her for wisdom and guidance, seeking comfort in the face of their own fears. She prayed not only for herself, but for the world beyond her cell, becoming a spiritual anchor for those who sought refuge in her words. Her mystical experiences revealed a God who does not abandon his people, but draws intimately close to them in their suffering. She saw Christ as both mother and redeemer, nurturing humanity with boundless compassion. In her writings, she reminds us that prayer is not merely asking God to remove difficulties, but entering into communion with God, discovering God's presence within all circumstances. Julian's life speaks powerfully to our own time of crisis, whether personal, communal, national, or global. Her model of enclosure does not necessarily mean physical withdrawal, but rather cultivating an internal stability anchored in God's presence. In a world marked by fear, division, and uncertainty, we are invited to embrace three things. First, a life of prayer, seeking God not only in moments of distress, but in daily, faithful conversation. 2, interior stability, rooting ourselves in God's love, rather than being swayed by external chaos. 3. Compassion and hope, sharing words of assurance and comfort with those around us, just as Julian's visions continue to do centuries later. Julian of Norwich's ministry in a time of crisis was one of unwavering faith, deep prayer, and steadfast hope. Her enclosure was not a retreat from reality, but a radical embrace of divine truth, offering a beacon of stability to those around her. In our own struggles, we too can follow her example, turning to prayer, cultivating inner peace and stability, and holding fast to the promise that in God's love all shall be well. May God be with you, and may God bless you. Amen.